All right, I couldn't really show this process as it was happening because it required both hands to do. Here's all the bolts had been removed from the rear bow in the back. I pulled the rubber weather stripping out. It just literally, there's a clip on each end. You pop that up. I didn't even need a screwdriver. I was just able to reach in, grab it with my fingers, pull it out, set that aside over there. And then it didn't feel like it wanted to budge because it's got this black tacky sticky junk adhesive all along the entire thing here to seal it, along the inner channel here, because that's, it's the rain barrier essentially, so water doesn't get into your trunk. So it's this awful stuff. It's gonna need, I don't know if it really needs to come off because it never really dries. This stuff's 20 years old and it's still sticky. It's basically like tar or bubble gum, except it doesn't get hard like bubble gum. It just stays this awful sticky stuff. And it's it's a good thing I had the tape on here. But basically, it didn't feel. I expected it to kind of like move more when I got it off. I actually thought there were still bolts in there, so I double checked that the bolts were all out, and then I just grabbed underneath here, reached my fingers in underneath the edge of it with both hands, found a little rim in there, and just using my hands as a lever, just squeezed my fingers and pulled it up, and I felt it start to budge. But it's basically like taffy holding it in there, so you feel it stickily coming up, and you just work your way around from one edge to the other, and then once it's loosened up all the way around, just come back to the middle, grab both pieces and pull it up, and that's how you see it is right now. So I'm actually going to pull this out of here, see if I can remove a bunch of this black sticky crap with some denatured alcohol. I don't know if it's going to do anything to it. Have to see. I might have to just mechanically strip it off of there with a putty knife or something. But the bottom of the canvas is actually stapled onto this bow. So what I need to do is pull all those staples out, get all the canvas off of there, clean this whole thing up, and then I can actually get ready to reinstall the new top. I'm already there. A couple small things still left to do. Still need to bend this bracket off so that we can feed this cable through on the new top. We still need to drill out these rivets here so that the new elastic strap can be riveted on here as it comes on. But this stuff can happen after we get all this taken care of. This is really the big disgusting priority, and I want to get it done and ready to put on before my friend Jake comes over, because the guy who did this initially on YouTube and the videos I watched, he said it really did help having two people to install this bow. I got to put the ribbon sealer of this new black stuff. I got this 3M window ribbon adhesive. It's got to go and put a bead of that around the middle of the back here, and then after it's all stapled on, you can slime it on and then bolt it in place. Okay, what I just realized when I was trying to remove this is that it is still attached to the car here by this riveted in place strap, and it's attached somehow to the bow here. Now, I don't know, maybe this is a piece that comes on the new top. I have to check again. But there's also a screw here in each corner that needs to come out. It's a Phillips head, so that's got to come out, and then hopefully I'll be able to pull this off of here, pull out all those staples, and see what the situation is in here. If it's still attached to the canvas here, then these rivets are going to need to be drilled out as well, one on each side here to remove this. And this is sewn, so it would actually just have to be cut. I didn't see anything in the instructions about having to sew a new strap on anywhere, so I'm hoping that when I get this off here, we'll see that this is attached to the bow and not to the canvas. Well, now I finally got that off. I undid the two screws on either end and just started peeling, and as I peeled, the staples pulled out and revealed that the nylon strap here is actually stapled as well. So I can probably just leave that alone and center the new top on here and begin stapling around the back after I just clean the surface up a little bit. Rather than taking it inside and trying to clean it out with denatured alcohol and all that, I don't think it needs to be perfect. Just scrape a lot of the old rotted material out with a putty knife and then set the new bead of material. Okay. As you can see, I'm using a old beach towel from my old work, Indian Point Energy Center, the nuke plant I worked at. They gave us this stupid beach towel. It's a piece of crap. It's rough. It's gross. I would never use it for anything. In fact, it's just been sitting in my closet unused for 5 years. So I decided I would use it for this so it would actually get some use. But I'm definitely not trying to give... Shut that off because there's no need for it right now. Yeah, not trying to give free press to my old employer or anything, but at least I got some use out of this dumb old beach towel finally. I'm just going to use some paper towels and a single edge razor blade that I had laying around for a razor scraper that I don't know what happened to. I think I have a whole bunch of tools in my in a toolkit that is in storage right now, which is why I can't seem to find anything, like my ratchets. Basically all my really important tools I don't have. Yeah, I'm just gonna scrape away at this stuff with this putty or razor blade, get this as much of this putty old gunk off as possible, and then use the paper towel to wipe it off as I go. Hopefully we get most of the slime off of here. Alright, so I went over the entire surface here with the razor blade to get just most of the high spots of gunk off of this. I didn't want to, try to get it down to virgin material, get all the goop off of it, because A, I don't think it's necessary, and B, in order to do that, I'd probably need to use some sort of solvent to dissolve this stuff. Quite frankly, I'm not comfortable doing it this close to the finish of my car, and I don't think it really matters, because I'm putting this goopy stuff, just putting a new bead of this goop stuff on there. As long as there's not a lot of just excess, I think it'll be okay. One of the things I did want to note is as I was scraping it off, I was coming across this stuff as well, which looks like some sort of foam rubber tape that was on here. It looks like some sort of gasketing material. It's completely dry rotted and crumbling. I wanted to get all of that off of there because I didn't want that to be in the way and kind of compromise the seal at all. So I got all of this off of there. I don't have any replacement for that. The instructions don't call for it, so I'm not going to use it. I think the black goop is goopy enough to create a proper seal on here. There's also some kind of like little black ribbony stuff inside this channel here where the staples connect. Here you go, here's some of it, where the staples connect to the bow, connect the canvas top to the bow. I don't have any more of whatever this is either. I don't think it's necessary. I don't know even quite frankly what it is. It's black, flaky, essentially dry rotted plastic. I don't think it's accomplishing anything, certainly not in its current state, and the car wasn't leaking, so I'm just kind of going through there with my finger and trying to clear some of that excess crap out of there. Once again, it's good to have this cloth here and the painter's tape to save your finish and just allow this to sit here while you do this so you don't have to remove it from the car. Now, there's nothing that says you can't, pull these staples as well on both sides, leave the strap hanging, and then take this elsewhere if you don't want to do this on the back of the car, if you do want to use a solvent on here and try to get all that crap off of there. But I'm also afraid, because of this plastic here, this plastic band where this staples into, I don't want to degrade that. So using a solvent on this, probably not the best idea. So I was just using a mechanical cleaning method with this razor blade and just going across and getting as much of this goop off as possible. And then when your blade stops picking stuff up, you clean it off on your paper towel. Alright guys, been working for a little while now just doing cleanup. I removed the bracket from here so that we'll be able to thread these through the new top, and I used the razor blade to scrape away at some of the old black plastic coating on this cable. It because it was partially rotted away, it had sharp edges, and I figured that probably has something to do with why it ended up like eating through the canvas channel. So what I'm going to do is oil this up a little bit, since it doesn't have the coating to protect it from corrosion anymore, and hopefully that will, having those sharp edges off of it, will extend the life of it a little bit. I did that on both sides. I cleaned up in here a little bit. It was just really dusty and gross, all this stuff. Went over it with some degreaser. I went over these center bows where they're going to have some adhesive for those plastic strips, and then the C-channel goes over top of that to hold it in place. I don't think the adhesive is actually all that critical for that reason, because it has that C-channel to hold it. But you know, they put it on there for a reason. So I wanted to get as much of the old adhesive off of here as possible. Now, it's gross, it's gummy, it's hard to get off. I went over it with the razor blade, and it was tedious, but I got a large amount of the chunkies off of it. Now, it's still kind of tacky. I don't know if that's going to affect how well the new adhesive will adhere to this. So what I did was I went over a little bit with the 3M greeny sponge to remove as much of the stickum as possible to give a nice clean surface. Now it started kind of taking the paint off a little bit, as you can see. I don't want it to do that, so I stopped. But I think I got them as good as they're going to get. The big high point you need to do is get all the old dry rotted material out of here, so the adhesive is actually sticking to the metal bow instead of dry rotted material, because then your adhesive is just going to pull away, because the dry rotted material is crumbling. So getting all of that off of there with a razor blade, while tedious, is very important to making sure that the new adhesive actually sticks. Now, you could try going with something like Goof Off or some other kind of remover. Goof Off, it contains xylene. It's pretty strong stuff as far as dissolving paints and greases and stuff like that, and that's why I'm not using it on this. I thought about it, but I don't want to take the paint off of this. And it says keep it away from automotive finishes. Obviously, you know, my car's a little dirty, but the paint's in relatively good shape for an 18-year-old car, and I don't want to have to get this repainted anytime soon. So preserving my finish is actually kind of a high priority. So I'm keeping the Goof Off away from the car. I'm not going to use it. I am going to, while I have the top off still, oil these latch mechanisms for the top latch on both sides. Figure since the top's off and we can access this is a good time to oil these. I'm just going to use like some regular 3-in-1 oil on any rolling contact points. I still need to drill out these rivets here and the one here on both sides. So 3 rivets need to get drilled out. I don't know where my extension cord is, so my drill won't reach out here. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. I might just try to cut them off with a side cutter, basically a pair of dikes, and clip the heads off of these. But then the back ends of it will fall down in there and won't be able to get them out. So I'll probably rattle around in there. So I really don't want to do that. So I don't know. I'm kind of confused as to what I want to do on that regard. But if I can get an extension cord over here and drill these out, that's what I'm going to do next. And then really, I think I've done all the clean and prep for the new top to go on.